you know, we try to incorporate the thumb quite often into the drive. And
not
Brian,
the pre-show.
Not the pre-show.
Not the pre-show.
But I'm just giving you a pre-warning.
All right.
That Brian has now given me quite the challenge. I don't know how I'm going to incorporate this particular thumb into the drive today. I will try. And of course, Taylor is bombing about somewhere. I think she's going to go to Arathusa, look for the Nkahumas, see if they've crossed back. I'm slowly meandering through Djuma, and then I'm going to head down to Cheetah Plains. And Dave and FW and Herb are heading into the area where Tingana was lost this morning, see if they can find him on foot. So, what? Spider webs, oh dear. There you go, I think we've got them all. So it is a beautiful, beautiful day. It's about, 89 degrees Fahrenheit. 31 degrees Celsius, 87 Fahrenheit. And we're actually having a very cool summer compared to last year. Last year we probably would have been sitting at this time of the year. We were often sitting at 105 to 110 by this time. So very nice and cool. I suppose it's all relative to what you want. You can see there's some fluffy cumulus clouds, not building into a massive anvil storm. We're still waiting for Steph's deluge. Steph has been predicting a deluge and even bought more sandbags, but we haven't filled these ones. But at least we won't be caught with our pants down when it comes. There was something else. Oh yes, I did want to talk about how amazing last night that I'm quite... Ooh. Hello. I'm quite jealous of FW and his chameleon. Have we got on the lion's mane? Sorry, I'm now completely distracted. I have a track I want to look at. It looks like I've got a drag mark. Brian, let me know if I have to keep quiet for the real show.
Yes,
okay, thank you. Hello, hello. Hello, Karula. What have you killed? So I'm pretty certain this is a leopard drag mark. Oh, I wonder, which way is it going, Brian?
No.
But why, Brian?
Oh, I can't see from here.
Oh, but I'm going to have to go for a walk. Whoa, they're everywhere. Oh, there's been an explosion of locusts.
We're allowed to go for a walk in 1 minute and 20 seconds.
We're allowed to go for a walk in 1 minute and 20 seconds. Before I do that, let's see it. Hopefully, don't run away. Don't run away.
Oh, wonderful.
It is an elegant locust. That is its name. Highly, highly noxious. You don't want to eat him. He doesn't taste nice. And that's why he's so brightly colored. That coloring is called aposematic coloring. Bright colors mean bad tasting generally in the insect world. Oh! Big jump. Oh! He's going to get out of the car all by himself. There he goes. I don't even need to release him. Now you also see he's got a very, very small wings. Has he gone behind my jersey? Yeah. He's got very small wings. They're remnant wings. Because he's so poisonous, he doesn't need to fly away from predators. So we're going to say goodbye for now from the elegant locust. I'm going to park Brian in the shade so he doesn't melt while I look for the leopard. Bye.
This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon. It's a sweltering day of the
Ready.
Standing by.
said, good afternoon. It's a sweltering day here in Africa. It's 83 degrees Fahrenheit, but there's not a breath of wind. My name is Taylor McCurdy, and on camera with me this afternoon, I've got VM sitting here, burning in the sun too. Now, I hope that you're all well rested and ready to get the day started for the Sunset Safari, because VM and I are, so is Brent, and of course FW or Evia is around you, and we're all going to quickly have a look. Fine sunny day. Right, it seems as though the gremlins are hopping on board. Let's go across to Evia and say hello to him.
Good afternoon, folks. How are we doing this afternoon? Lovely, humid and fairly hot day. I'm cleaned up after my swim this morning. Nice exfoliating shower I had. We out here just outside of camp. We've got a big termite mound with some dwarf mongoose in them, or in it. They are hiding at the moment. We want to see if we can find them, if they want to show themselves again. While we're out here though, while we wait for them, see if they come out, the log or the tree that I'm sitting on is an apple leaf. It's fallen, it's been pushed over by elephants, it's been eaten on a bit. Yeah, apple leaves are quite good for for showing and indicating water. The area that we're in is on a bit of a slope. It's heading down towards the Juma Pan area, that drainage line that runs in front of it. So yeah, always good to look out for trees, species that do show water. Apple leaf, this one behind me is a silver cluster leaf that also indicates water. If you're driving and it's fairly wet, not a good place to drive, you might get stuck. Herbert's just found a little tortoise. Let's go have a look. Let's see what's happening there. A little Speaks hinged tortoise. I'm not gonna pick him up. I'm gonna leave him. You can see how shy he is with every little bit of movement. He's sticking his head out, pulling it back in. The hinge, will you be able to see? Let me move him a bit. Here you can see where the hinge, where the name of the hinge comes in. This closes a little bit to protect the back legs when predators start playing with them. Often lion and leopard cubs will play with these things. Sometimes you'll get bite marks on the shell itself. I was told quite an interesting story with regards to the tortoise. I was told by the Swazi people, just a bit further south of here, they've got a story of how the tortoises got to, well, apparently there were two tortoises, a male and a female. They were living together and lived together for many years. One day they went to the creator who created everything out here and asked for children. They haven't had children. They've had a long life but haven't had any children, and the creator said no, the female is too old, she won't be able to, it won't go well with laying the eggs and all that. But the male tortoise kept on going. He kept trying. He tried a couple of times until eventually the creator said, yes, you've persisted, you've got the guts to come back to me and ask every time. And he allowed them to have children. So the female prepared herself, she ate well, and eventually she laid her eggs. She laid the eggs. After laying the eggs, she passed away. Unfortunately, the males passed away soon after, and basically from a broken heart with his long life with his female. And these little tortoises had to look after themselves. So from that day onwards, tortoises look after themselves from birth. The Creator shows them where to get food, where to get water, and where to survive. And that's also part of why they've got this hard shell. They go in and protect themselves from predators doing that. So quite an interesting little folklore that I thought I'd share with you this afternoon. Alright, let's carry on. Let's see what else we can find here. There's some oxpeckers calling in the distance. There is this dead tree. There's a crested barbet sitting in it, and there's some oxpeckers in the area as well, somewhere behind it. Maybe let's carry on. Let's try and see if we can find anything there. Maybe there's a big creature, maybe a big herbivore. Could be something like an impala or a bushbuck. Oh no, there, they flew off. Maybe they've got a nest on this dead tree. Often they nest in the bark where the bark starts peeling away from the tree itself. I don't see anything. Just saw the one flying off. There's a little squirrel. Let's see. Yep. It's run off. Right. I wonder what we're gonna find this afternoon. Hopefully we'll find a little bit of game. We're gonna get going, cut through a big open clearing. Maybe you'll see something interesting there, and then work it from there. Folks, I'm going to put some distance on. I'm going to see if we can cover some ground, see if we find something. We're going to head over to Taylor for an update.
Hello again, and I apologize for earlier, but what you can see flapping its wings quite vigorously and off it goes into a distance, well, that was a very, very quick look at a pair of African grey hornbills, even though we only just saw the one. Now, our plan this afternoon is actually to head along towards Arathusa, and I'd love to have a look and see if those lions have perhaps come across yet. We haven't had any word, so I put my radio on the right channel, and well, we're going to listen up, and hopefully we get an update of some sort. Far too long. Hello, boys. But, well, not the Nkahumas, but two beautiful impala rams. And of course, when one starts trotting off, normally the other follows. And he looked like he wanted to, but instead, he's just going to walk gracefully across the road so that you can all have a wonderful look at him. And I reckon if you had to dig out a couple of photos from about a month ago and compare them with what the impala, especially the boys, and what they're looking like now, I think you'd be amazed to see how much condition they've put on since the sort of end of the dry season. Isn't that just amazing how quickly these animals will put on weight? They don't lose it very easily. It does take quite some time for them to sort of they'll start to show their hips and their ribs. So you can get another look at these beautiful boys. Hello, gentlemen. Don't run away from us, please. Just look at you. I'm going to go stealth mode over to them. We'll just pretend that we're not looking at them. We'll put blinkers on, and then hopefully, well, they won't run away. Hello, boys. And very gracefully and delicately, just moving around a shrub, but they're coming out on the other side. And it's actually a perfect day. I know I said it was hot and there wasn't really much of a breeze, but thank goodness for the cloud cover, because it is perfect temperature. We may even get lucky enough and find some animals heading around to the watering holes. We did see a herd of impala earlier. They just come back down to drink, and then they moved off again, so maybe we're going to see a lot more of that this afternoon. Now, if you have just tuned in, remember we are on a live safari, and well, we'd all love to interact with you. If you have got, it doesn't matter what the question is, ask away. You can hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or you can send us an email, questions@wildearth.tv. Well, we're making our way towards Arathusa now and check the western boundary, and let's go back across to Brent and see what he's made of those drag marks he had earlier.
Welcome to a balmy day here in the African bushveld. My name is Brent Smith. I have my good friend Brian Joubert on camera. Now, Brian has put up a challenge. I do not want what to say about a fat starfish. Apart from it, it's very lost. It should be in Mozambique on one of the islands sitting on a rock, but alas, the poor starfish is out in the sun. I think it's going to be a fat and very dry starfish by the end of this safari. And of course, Brian and myself together are known as the killer bees. So let's see what killer sightings we can find today. So those of you who are watching the pre-show, I went off walking after a drag mark that was made by a leopard dragging some poor unfortunate animal. That poor unfortunate animal was killed by the leopard. It was dragged off. Then the poor unfortunate leopard lost said poor unfortunate animal to a troop of baboons. From what I can see, there was a bit of hair and a bit of a hoof, so I think it was a baby impala, and it looks like the baboons stole it. I've got a message from Herbie. Just listening to the Game Drive radio. So of course Tingana was around this morning. He did do a disappearing act, but Herbie and FW are in the area. So it's amazing how our plans change, because we were going to go down to Cheetah Plains, but now we're looking for leopards because we've had this drag mark. And I know Tingana's around, but I'm really hoping to find Karula, see what's happening with Hosana and Shongile. Okay, let's check quickly for tracks here in the soft sand of the Moati River. Okay, let's have a look. It's going to be on the radio for a second. Rex. Now, this is always a good spot to look for leopards. There's nice deep shade. Rex or Herbie? Okay, while we check this riverbed, let's go see what Madam Taylor's up to. Herb, what was it?
Madam Taylor is still very slowly making her way towards Arathusa. I don't know why I'm speaking in third person now. Oh my goodness, VM, have a look at this. Look what I've just spotted. Look at all the mud. So we've just popped under a marula tree, and I'm sure you saw that I was looking up above me, because we've got this massive aerial that sticks out at the back, and I was worried that I was going to whack it on this big branch. Now, how incredible is this? This is all mud, and it can only be from one animal, and that, of course, is the largest African land mammal, and that is the elephant. Well, I suppose the largest land mammal in the world. Now, they've obviously had a nice wallow. Maybe they went to Twin Dams and had a bath. It doesn't look too fresh. Let me see if I can try and see how fresh it is. I'm going to have to jump out, though. Yeah, how am I going to do this? I'm going to climb. Right. I'm going to climb on Wendy. Wendy, this is going to be interesting. Right, we'll stand here, then we'll go on the door, and we'll try not to fall off. Right, we won't fall off. Oh, no, it's very, very, very old. I think I'm going to gracefully jump down. That is high. I mean, if you look at where I am compared to how high up that is incredible, don't you think, Ben? I think that, I mean, I can't even... I'm never going to touch it. got to be like Michael Jordan, but fortunately I can't really jump like him. Now, that of course is after the elephant has gone for a lovely wallow in the mud, come across this tree, and well, it perhaps had a scratch, but it seems as though it only scratched its back and its shoulder, because that is the only part of the body that would reach. That is massive, that's so high. Right, now enough of me being silly, let me make sure I don't whack the antenna on the... Just made it. Right. We've still got a wee bit of a way to go to get to Arethusa. And I decided to also drive on one of the fire breaks. And these fire breaks are wonderful because they're a little bit on the overgrown side. So when you've got guests, it's not the best thing to do is drive on the most overgrown roads. Otherwise, you just get people with branches in their faces all the time, and that's no fun for anyone. So I like them. VM and I don't mind the bushes too much. And, well, the road less traveled, obviously... So, the reason why I like to travel on these roads is because no one's really driven on them, so they leave lots and lots of footprints. Now, a sighting that we had yesterday, and I'm so ecstatic for Evia that he managed to see Mr. Mfumo, my favorite Birmingham, well, one of my favorite. I like Nena as well, he's quite nice. And he managed to see that little tiny chameleon, and I'm sure all of you still remember it and it's fresh in your minds. And that tiny little chameleon was climbing up on Mfumo's mane. And Donna, oh, it's a baby warthog piglet! It's my first one! It's my first baby warthog piglet. That's so cute. Hello? Where are the rest of your babies? I'm so sorry, Donna. I'll get back to your question, but this is just too gorgeous. And you can see how Mom has put herself between us and her little one, making sure it doesn't get left behind. But don't worry, Mama Warthog. I can promise you I'm not interested in this tiny little tot of yours. I just want to have a look at your beautiful little piglet. That is so small. It's probably about a week old or so. It's not teeny tiny. And they grow so quickly. Look at Mom egging it on. Off you go. What did Brent call them the other day? Sausages. It was sausages, eh, VM? I think VM described the little warthogs as sausages and leopard snacks as well. I really hope they don't become leopard snacks. I love a baby warthog. They are so cute. And I was feeling really, really left out because I was the only one that hadn't seen any piglets yet. But woohoo! We're going to see if we can get another view. So sorry, Donna. You were wondering if anybody stayed out and perhaps followed up on where Mfumo went. So unfortunately, it looked like he crossed into Biffle's hook by the sign of his footprints. It's okay, little one. Come back. We just want to look at you. You're getting left behind. Don't get left behind. Now, I really hope we have a nice, positive interaction with this little piggy. I'm going to try to get up ahead of Mom so that we can have her sort of walking. Oh no, she's going to duck. No, she's running away. There we go, one last look. So yeah, sorry Donna, unfortunately Mr. Mfumo disappeared, but the next time that we see him, I'm going to have a good hard look and see if we can't find that chameleon. And I think it was very clever on that chameleon. Though I don't think it intentionally climbed onto the lion. I think Mfumo probably brushed through a couple of bushes. And, well, that tiny little chameleon, not being big and strong yet, obviously lost its grip and ended up on its mane. But we're going to keep heading towards Arethusa, and I'm so excited we got to see the little pig. I can go home now. I don't know about you. That was fantastic. But let's see how Mr. Leo Smith is doing and his investigating in a riverbed is going.
With a wonderful big herd of impala, and I'm just trying to look, there was a female who had a massive scar. And I think I actually saw her when that scar was fresh, and it looked like she escaped from a lion, and we weren't sure whether she was going to make it, and it's healed incredibly well. She's now disappeared into the anonymity that becomes an impala herd. Where's she gone, Brian? It was on her right side, right back leg. It's quite a stiff walk. Hey, little ones, what you up to? They are very sweet, the little impalas. All legs. Now remember, this is 100% live from the African bush, and if you want to ask any questions, you can use the hashtag #SafariLive on Twitter, or pop us an email to questions@wildearth.tv. Now, before Taylor disappears to Arethusa, I have got some news for her. Taylor, do you copy? We're going to keep looking for the leopards. Taylor's plan is to look for the lions, and I did get a good update, and hopefully they haven't moved too far, because it sounds like we might be able to get there. I just need to get a hold of her. Taylor, do you copy? More impalas. Well, maybe Final Control can ask her to call me on the radio while we keep moving. Okay, so we're going to go look for Tingana, the big male leopard. And of course, it's not only about the big cats. We'll stop for anything that fascinates us along the way. Taylor, I just got an update from Shanae. Nkomas are at Shigodi Pan, Arethusa Sibambili cut line, on the southern side of the road, so in Arethusa. No problem. So there we go. Good news. Taylor should be on her way there shortly, while we scour Juma for the other big cats. Now, Herbie, and Effie are also in that area where we're going to check. Of course, being in a vehicle, if we hear alarm calls, we're able to be a bit quicker into an area, which sometimes helps when you're after the big cats. Now, talking about Effie, Brian, did you watch that this morning?
I didn't.
You didn't? You haven't seen it?
No, I haven't.
It is quite spectacular. Effie doing the buffalo wallow. I was quite impressed. I'm suitably impressed, should I say. Now, if I was going to do such a wallow, I definitely wouldn't do it as far from camp as Effie. I would choose a closer wallow. But hats off to the man. That took quite a bit of courage. And she said that mud doesn't smell the best. Speaking of the man who loves his mud, let's go see how Effie's doing on foot.
Welcome back. We are with a buffalo thorn. First of all, it adds on to our gourmet of this morning. See the leaves here? We can eat them. You can eat them as a salad, just like this. Or if you had to, you can cook it and eat it like a spinach. This is quite an important tree to the local people all over the Lowveld area. There's a lot of uses for it. One thing to look at is the growth pattern. I don't know if you can see, it's got a bit of a zigzag growth pattern to it. And that shows us that life will not be one easy straight line. Next thing to look at is the thorns. There's a straight thorn and a hook thorn. The straight thorn tells you to look at it look out to the future, and the hookthorn tells you to forget about the past. Herbert told me a very interesting story about this hookthorn and the straight thorn as well that it's used for. If someone finishes school, they get, for example, going to a college or varsity next year, they get given a bag, a luggage bag, and they put a branch of this tree in it. And the thorns tell them, the straight thorn tells them to go out and explore life, go explore what's out there. And the hookthorn tells them to never forget where they come from and to come back and maybe bring the skills that they've learned somewhere else back into their own communities. Something very interesting. The Zulu people also believe that you can hide under a bigger tree than this one we're at now. If there's a lightning storm and there's a lot of thunder and lightning around, it might protect you. I don't know, I haven't tried it yet, and I'm not brave enough to try it either. No, I've lost. Okay, let me just quickly gather my thoughts, sorry. Where does the buffalo thorn get its name from? It comes from the buffalo. The buffalo use these trees to protect themselves. They reverse into them with their hind quarters and keep their head out to fight, let's say, lions hunting them, or even hunters hunting them. Go and hide in one of these and kind of set up an ambush and protect their sides, their flanks and the back, not to be vulnerable to the predators trying to catch them. Yeah, so just a little bit more on folklore and a bit of survival. We're going to head over to Taylor for an update. Enjoy.
We are looking at the very popular woodland kingfisher who has arrived to spend our summer with us. Let's see if it calls once more. I don't know if you can hear it, but there's another kingfisher calling in the far distance. And I suspect that this one is responding to its call, so we're going to just sit quietly just for a moment to see if this chap responds. Come on, shout, proclaim your territory. It actually sounds like there's a third kingfisher that's joined in on the territorial calling. And there were two here. Where was this one? And then there was another one, which was perhaps the female. And the kingfisher, we see them using these marula trees actually quite often for nesting. I think there's one on the big open plain just near the DRC, where I think Herbert said there's a pair that are nesting in an old hollowed out marula tree. But you can see this bird is listening very, very carefully. The way it moves its head. Come on, give us one more display, because it is so beautiful when they tilt their head to the sky, open their wings, and give off that sort of beautiful call that they have. Probably one of the more difficult calls to actually try and imitate. Maybe we should have a challenge this afternoon. VM, are you any good at making a call? VM says not a chance. He's not any good at all. Let me see if I can try. No, not very good at all. That was probably my worst attempt at any bird call I've ever done. How do you get this right? And I bet you're all sitting at home as well trying to get the kingfisher call. And well, if you've got any family, I'm sure they think you're as crazy as I am. But luckily there's no one else around, and VM knows me by now, so he doesn't really get bothered by too much at all. Right, let's try this again. How do you do this call? Chip, No, that doesn't sound anything like a kingfisher at all. But maybe Brent and Evia can do a better attempt. So it'll be interesting to see how theirs go. But I'm a bit nervous because Brent is driving with Brian this afternoon, and we know how musical Brian is, and he's pretty good at doing the various calls. So I think we better say now that Brian is not allowed to help Brent. Brent is going to do it all on his own, just in case he was getting any ideas. Hello, beautiful. You are posing so perfectly. Look at all that turquoise that you can see just on the outside feathers. Oh, they are such beautiful birds. And I know you must be... Well, I don't think you can really get sick of birds, can you? Especially when they pose like this. And I really wish we'd had a woodland kingfisher sitting so still for us like this morning. Our one didn't really hang around for too long. Quite curious, looking around. And I can still see its mate on the tree, but it is sitting a little bit up behind leaves. So that's nice that the two of them have decided to sit here. Maybe they are nesting in this tree. And that's why they haven't really felt the need to dart off and away from us. And one of my favorite things to try and explain to guests when I was guiding is that you look at these beautiful birds. So Louise just played basically she asked me what do I think of her imitation of the woodland kingfisher, and all she did was play the sound. That's very naughty. You're not allowed to do that, Louise. But as I was saying, one of my favorite things to show guests when they're coming on safari is looking at these kingfishers, because you get kingfishers all over the world, different types. Some of them are more colorful than others. And well, the normal kingfisher that we usually see is the brown-hooded. And now that's not really in any term spectacular when it comes to the coloration that some of the kingfishers have, like the half-collared. Oh, look. Or the malachite do, or even the pygmy kingfisher. Where have you gone? Just trying to find it again. I think, was it not lower down, Via? Oh, there it is, hiding away. There we go. Now we've got its bum. Give us another display so we can see your feathers nicely. And my guests were always so surprised as to when, for instance, if it was this time of the year, I could show them a woodland kingfisher, or if it was a brown-hooded kingfisher, and I'd say, look at their magnificent beaks, like almost like a spear coming off of their face. And of course they would say, well, they must eat fish. And I was like, funny you say that. And it's just amazing how some of the species of kingfishers, like of course the woodland and then our other resident, the brown-hooded, predominantly feed on insects. So I'm sure that they must be very happy at the moment, especially this woodland kingfisher. Perhaps, well, I know they love Zambia, but they leave Zambia and they come down here during the summer in Zambia. It just gets so hot, and I suppose they're all over the more northern African countries. But I think down here at this time of the year, it's really beautiful. And all the insects have come about. I can only really speak about Zambia. The rain hasn't come yet. Oh, it sounds like there's a vehicle coming up the road. I'm going to have to pull off. Let me see if I'm hearing correctly. I could be making it up, though. Okay, no, I thought there was a vehicle coming towards us. It's on another road. Now, we've spoken about their beautiful beaks, the lovely colors that they have over their bodies, all the lovely blues and the black on their wings. Now, Sarah, you were wondering about their eyes, and you were particularly wondering if a bird's eye is wet like ours, or is it dry? Now, I'd imagine their eyes would have to be moist. They also blink. So I've never really touched a bird's eye, or I've had, so I'm not 100% sure, but I would say that an educated guess would be that their eyes would have to stay moist. Even something like some of the geckos that don't blink, they constantly lick their eyes to keep them nice and moist and remove, of course, the bits of debris and things. So I think an eye needs to stay nice and moist. It's just posing beautifully in that lovely dappled light. Oh, well, you can see the wind has come up. As this kingfisher looks like it's almost going to get blown over. It's going to go tail over its head and do a somersault down into the ground. And I know this morning you got to watch a woodland kingfisher catching a dung beetle. That must have been quite hysterical to see. Like I said, dung beetles not the most elegant flyers, so I'm sure it wasn't really a challenge for this very graceful kingfisher. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to send you off to have a bird's eye view of the reserve. And well, I think Brent is going to have a little go at telling you about the area. Oh, I'm narrating. Oh, that's so funny. Sorry, I missed the beginning part that Louise was talking about. So apparently I'm narrating over the drone. Apparently it's buzzing around in the sky, doing its thing, looking at all the wonderful vegetation that has all come through. I'm sure the animal pathways are going to start to disappear. And if you look very, very carefully, you may see something moving down on the ground. Well, you may see three things moving. And if you're wondering what that is David, Evia, and of course the mighty protector Herbert, walking and scouting the open plains, looking for all sorts of things to show you. That must be such a fantastic view, and I absolutely love the drone. Now what we're going to do is, seeing as though you've just had a look at Evia from above, let's go back down and get an eye view.
Folks, we have found a spider hunting wasp sitting on a fallen over tree pushed over by elephants. It is probably looking for a spider that might be in this tree somewhere. It looks like there's quite a bit of wood borer damage on the tree. Then there might be spiders in some of those cavities. This is quite an interesting one. It's got a bit of a different color. Normally I haven't seen these guys too much. The ones you normally see are all dark in color. This guy looks like he's got orange legs. Quite an interesting facial pattern on the back of his body as well. It's quite nice. We've got something with survival as well. There's a tiny corkwood over here that you can get moisture and energy from the roots. You can eat the roots for water and for energy, get a bit of nutrients going. One thing I find amazing with these little corkwoods, their little fruits and seed, the seed is covered in a little red fleshy material. It looks like a little hand that's cupped the seed and holding the seed. It's amazing. I haven't seen any bigger ones with seeds on them that I could show you, but yeah, just amazing. Just imagine this little dark black seed with bright red little fingers holding this thing in the fruit capsule. It is amazing. There's a knobthorn over here. See that spider hunting wasp? It's gone over to this knobthorn. Knobthorn, unfortunately, is a tree that got hammered quite hard this year with the drought. Elephants were debarking knobthorns for food often, and actually a lot more than they would normally, which is quite sad because some of these knobthorns are fairly old and have been around the block and in this area for many years. So it's sad to see those big trees being killed and debarked. But it's all part of the cycle. It's needed, I suppose, sometimes. Everything that happens out here. James, you're asking about the thorns of the knobthorn, if they get harder with age and if they're softer when they're young. Well, we are lucky. I just walked past a younger knobthorn, so let's get one of those thorns and compare it to an older plant. This is on a brand new shoot. These thorns are very soft. A little bit further along the same branch where this new shoot was, the thorns are already hardened up, so they do harden up quite quickly. And then let's go to the bigger plant, the one that's been pushed over. We'll have a look at this one and see how strong these thorns have become already. Let me just change my hands. You can see, I don't know, see the difference in at how hard it is, and also the color. It's gone from a reddish color to a pale gray color and extremely hard. So yeah, this is all part of protecting the tree against overgrazing or over browsing from animals such as giraffe, such as kudu, that are the more common browsers in the area. Where the name knobthorn, if we come around this side, there's some nice examples of a knob. I'm not going to get in there, but there are a couple of nice knobs in this area. You can see that has also got a thorn on it that protects it. It protects it more from animals rubbing themselves on it like I was doing this morning. What else is in this area? I can show you guys. Let's carry on a little bit more, see what else is willing to show itself. Folks, while I keep looking for something to show you, we're going to head over to Taylor and Arethusa.
Now, I've been listening very carefully to the radio, and the reason why I've got to clutch it to my hand is because I got word that apparently, I don't know how many in Kahumas, but there were some in Kahumas, and at a place called Shigodi Pan. Now, if you're not sure where that is on Arethusa, you'll probably remember Brian and I found Shadow there the other afternoon when we followed her and she climbed up that tall marula tree. So it's sort of in that vicinity, quite close to the Simbambili boundary. Now, there were some Arethusa guides going to inspect and see if they were still there or if they'd moved and what the story is. So I'm waiting for an update from them, and hopefully they'll let us know shortly. So what we came to do, and I'm sure, well, it needs no introduction, is that we're at the Arethusa airstrip currently, just having a little look around. Occasionally there's some nice birds and big herds of impala in this open area, and well, I was also just taking a chance to perhaps see if any cheetah or anything had come through here. Now, I remember when I was working down south on our airstrip, the cheetah used to love it, and we'd often find them sitting there stalking some impala or something along those lines, or any antelope really. We're just going to go past the two little aeroplanes, and then we'll probably start making our way a little bit further west. Maybe we'll even quickly go to Red Dam and have a little squiz there and see if there's anything happening this afternoon. Like we said, it's nice and warm, and well, I'm thirsty, so I'm sure the animals must be getting a little bit thirsty as well. Hi aeroplanes, bye aeroplanes. Now, it's one thing that I don't miss about traveling in Zambia, especially to the national parks, is that, well, most of the airstrips are gravel and aren't even tarred, so you've got to go in on these very small propellered aeroplanes, and they're not fun because I get horrendous motion sickness. I couldn't even go on a swing as a child. I mean, how's that? I had a terrible childhood because I couldn't swing. I was the one that pushed all my friends, and I think that's why my friends kept me around. VM, would you keep me around if I couldn't have a chance in the swing but I could push you guys? I'd be actually quite valuable friend. But anyway, I think that's the only reason they used to keep me around. And, well, those planes bounce around quite a bit, and I always used to get airsick. It was really, really horrible. So I'm glad I don't have to go on too many more of those small aeroplanes. Right, let's see what we've got around the next corner. Very quiet today, not too much out, which is surprising considering it is such a nice day. Maybe we get lucky. Scanning. Right, it seems as though the animals are evading us just for the moment, so we're going to keep edging on closer. I think we'll go straight to Red Dam, and well, hopefully you'll see us there the next time. But I think Mr. Leo Smith is back on the vehicle. Let's see what he's got to say.
Now, at this time of the year, sometimes the ground is so hard, it's time to go with a bit of gut instinct. So I'm thinking, they found Tingana after drive. It was hot. Say the tracks were heading east, and if I was a male leopard and it's hot, where do I want to be chilling? I want to be chilling in a riverbed. So this is the riverbed in front of Vertella camp.
We've come to a junction and I don't know where to go. That one says Arathusa Deliveries. We don't really look like a delivery vehicle, and I don't have any food to drop off for them, so I think we'll just continue going down this road. I wonder what's happening at the dam. Maybe we'll have a quick look at the big Arathusa Dam and see if anybody's come down to drink, but we're going to have to go all the way around that side. Let's just make sure that I'm doing the right thing here. Thank goodness for GPS these days. Otherwise, I think Brent, Jamie and James would have to have come rescued me probably about 1,000 times by now, and I'd probably be back down in the southern sectors of the Sabi Sands. Right, let's see. I think we can go here. Can we go here, VM? Is this the wrong way? Is it right? VM says this is the right way. I trust VM. Now I can hear some chattering on the radio, but I can't quite hear what they're saying just yet, so we'll get an update when we get to a bit more higher ground. Okay, we're getting closer. Bump. We're going over the dam wall. I've never done this before. Oh my goodness, I feel so naughty going over a damn wall. I don't know why. Let's go and check. We'll be naughty. I don't think I'm being naughty. I'm allowed to do this, obviously. But, you know, I'm such a goody two-shoes sometimes. My dad always calls me that. He always says I'm a goody two-shoes. Well, we'll stop here and we'll have a very quick look. There is absolutely nothing. As you can see, it is dry. And there's just lots and lots of footprints, most likely from a variety of different animals coming down, but not a drop of water. Okay. Right, well, let's go across. I don't know why I feel like I'm such a rebel by doing this. It's really giving me an adrenaline rush. Louise says she thinks I need to get out more. That's probably true. I also do live on a game reserve. Right, it's very, very cool. Not even an impala in sight. That's crazy. What's going on over here? So we're going to try and find us some higher ground, and I think if we do head towards Red Dam, like we said, we'll get... Ooh. Now, we'll probably get good signal when we get towards Red Dam. Now, we've moved off of the airstrip and we had a good look around, but we couldn't really see anything. There were some impala that were so far in the distance and in the thicket that we couldn't even really see them properly. Now, James, you were wondering and hoping and well, keeping your fingers crossed too, that we would see some jackal on the airstrip, but unfortunately it didn't look like they were out. Maybe this evening. We'll see how long we stay on Arethusa for, and maybe we can always go back past there to have a look. Oh, I see some life, but it's got feathers again. It looks like it may be another birding day. Where did you go? There you are, sitting all the way in the distance on the log. Hello, birdie. Should we play an easy game? I think so. We're going to play a little game now, of course. We're going to play Guess the Bird. So, if you can tell me what bird you are looking, or what you are currently looking at, you are welcome to hashtag Safari Live on Twitter with your answers, or you can send them through to questions@wildearth.tv if you don't have Twitter, and we'll see who gets it right first. It's a very common bird. We see it all over, and we see quite a few different species of this particular bird too, which is quite nice. But it might be a challenge if you've just started watching us, and it's always good to start birdless. If you've maybe just tuned in, well, right now, I'm sorry, because we had such a fun birding day this morning. Brent got 43 birds in one drive. That's magnificent. And I think we ended up on about 30. But there were a couple that we did see, but unfortunately they flew away before we could actually show you. And that's what makes the challenge so much more fun, I suppose. I did see some movement up ahead. I think it was some impala. Let's see if we can get them. But they're also hiding away now. Let's find a little gap. This is always the tricky part, is trying to find a gap to show you some animal. There's a tiny little impala, of course, you can see moving around there. Now, Debbie from Vancouver, you referred to the Arethusa Dam as the Arethusa Dust Bowl. I love that. That is fantastic. And you were wondering, why doesn't this water sort of collect water? And it seems to drain, obviously, very well. Whereas other dams seem to save that water and keep it there for a lot longer. Now, Debbie, it can only be that maybe it's a different type of soil that's in there. It does look like there's quite a bit of clay, and clay will... Sorry, let's carry on. These impala are disappearing. There's some more up ahead though. And clay drains very well. It doesn't really hold water so well. So possibly that's the reason why. Because I don't think I've actually ever seen any water in. The only time I really saw anything, I've only really ever seen it quite muddy and or liquid mud, I suppose. But other than that, I don't know. It's not very nice, and it's beautiful. It's deep, and we've had lots of rain. Oh, hello, little impala, testing your legs. Oh my goodness, a waterbuck. I almost forgot what a waterbuck looked like, but it's running away from us. You can see it darting off into the distance, the big white circle around its rump. I feel as though we haven't seen them in ages, and it's a very camouflage looking waterbuck at the moment. And there's the impala. Now there is a little lamb you can see just between the two ewes. Oh, there's actually two little impala. And it's always nice to see when they do go darting off, Mom sort of does a casual trot. And now that these little ones are probably just over a week old, maybe even a little more than that, some of them, they're feeling quite comfortable on their legs now. So as soon as they get the opportunity to pop it into third gear, off they go, and you'll see they start to bound around and practice those big jumps and leaps that the adults will do when they see a predator or when they're just trying to get away from something. Now we've got a couple of answers that have come through for my bird quiz. So Janice, Mauricia, you have said that it was a Burchell starling. You were both correct, so well done. That was an easy one, but a good one. And like I said, you saw this morning, I was a bit rusty with my birds. And, I did go through my bird book today and go through of the most easiest. And what we're going to do, we're going to head across to, and I think he's going to be chatting to you from the sky.
Impala alarm calling. I just need to get hold of Rex. He's been helping look in this area. Okay, we need to get into the block. Now, this could be Tingana. Now you can see you're up in the air with Connor flying, but I can hear an Impala alarm calling not far from us in the thickets. Which way is it looking? I can just make it out. You see it, Brian? Straight ahead of us. Where is it looking? Okay, it must be Mr. Tingana, I'm hoping, around here. Okay, now you've jumped out of the air and you're with us. The Impala alarm calling slightly to the west of us, and that apparently is the last direction that Mr. Tingana was moving in. Okay, hold on, guys. There the Impala. It was only an alarm calling. Afternoon, Zay. Are you looking for an update? Sorry, guys. Zay, just general game at the moment. Rex and I are following up on a male leopard that was seen this morning. We haven't managed to relocate yet, but in the area around Gallagher, Vuatila camp. Okay. So if the Impalas move this way, whatever they were alarm calling at is this side. Now Impalas sometimes get a little confused and snort at a smell. Now, of course, as beautiful as the emerald green of the summer is, it does sometimes make finding animals a little bit harder. There's more places to hide.
Can anyone help me with identification on this skull? I think it's a fairly large animal, one of the bigger herbivores that we get in this area. But let's see if anyone can recognize it. There's a very distinctive identifying feature that we can look for. But yeah, let's give it a minute and see if anyone gets it. Well, I'm going to turn it around for the moment. Just want to show you where the brain cavity sits and just how small it actually is compared to the size of this animal. Amazing linkage, how the bones link and fuse together around the eye socket. I think this was a relatively old animal. If I look at the teeth, at the molars, you can see they're worn down quite a bit. Shame. This guy actually had pieces of grass stuck in his teeth. Didn't have the magic guari, or didn't use the magic guari to clean his teeth properly. Another thing to look at, if you look into this area here, see how the skull is not solid, the bone isn't solid. Here's a nice example as well. We can zoom into that. It's almost like a honeycomb. It just lightens the load that the animal has to carry with the skull, and also helps with absorption of pressure when they're fighting. Would you agree if I said this is an old buffalo bull? If you look at this calluses here, this is the boss, where the horns used to be, helping protect. Diane, Betty and Lynn, I'm glad that you guys agree with me in saying this is a buffalo. Well done. Awesome. There's an interesting plant around this area as well. Let's keep going with this skull. Quite big leaves. It's got a very interesting smell. The way I remember it, to me it smells like vitamins. Multivitamin tablet box that you open up. This is called an ivy grape, and I was told by some of the local trackers and people that I've worked with before, you can use this to clean your blood. So with the roots, you boil it up, you drink that mixture and you clean your blood with it. Pretty interesting, quite sticky. Going back to the skull, we had some, this guy's broken up quite a bit and been spread around by a hyena, so there's not much. I think there's 4 or 5 bones in the area that we are now. Unfortunately, there's no horn borer moths to show you on the horn. Normally they'll be on the black parts of the horn that covers the bone, the keratin sheath, and their larvae eat into this keratin sheath they eat the keratin, and they make these little things sticking out of the horn then. That's their frass sacs. So frass is the term for insect dung, and that little dung is kind of woven with silk, I suppose, as well, and that protects the little larvae inside the horn. Fairly interesting. If we find a skull that has them on them, we'll get to show it to you. So let's move on. Let's see if we can find one. Let's keep going. Leave this guy where he was and head on out. Debbie, you are asking for a plant that uses chemistry to protect itself. There's one. Let's go over there, and then I'll tell you more about that. It's a silver cluster leaf. In the beginning of the show, we had a silver cluster leaf, and the one thing that it shows us water. We're also close to a drainage line again, but this guy is very high in tannins. The silver cluster leaf is so high in tannins it dries out your mouth when you chew it. So some people use it as a local anesthetic because of that reason, and also treating maybe wounds or toothache. You chew a leaf. I've tricked a couple of people into eating them, telling them that it's bush chewing gum. Everyone's quite intrigued by the whole bush chewing gum experience, and then end up with a very dry mouth. I would show it to you, but I might stop talking then, and I don't think we want that. Another couple of interesting things around. there's these little bulb-like looking things on the plant. That's from a gall wasp that stung the plant, and it's grown a little bulb inside, or a little ball with, and they lay their eggs in there. Some of the bigger ones, they make different. There's a couple of different ones. You've got this little round one that we're looking at now. Then we've got another one that almost looks more like a hornet's nest than really anything where something would have good protection, but I suppose they do have. And then there's one that's very long. I don't see one on this tree. That one we could use if we had to make a whistle. You cut it open and you put your fingers over the thing like this, blow into it, and you get a bit of a louder noise whistle coming out. So if you had to get someone's attention without making a big fire out here, if you were lost or anything, you would be able to get their attention like that if people were really looking for you and you can't have a proper whistle, or you don't have a proper whistle on you. That's one tree that uses chemicals. There's another one called a tambuti that's very poisonous. They say 3 drops of that milky latex can kill a man. I don't see any in this area. Maybe we should just head back into this drainage line. They're often associated with drainage lines. Let's go have a look, see if we can find a leaf and show you that milky latex. And in Indiana, you're asking about the rainy season. We're in the rainy season at the moment. The next one will only start next year again. So this will keep going for a while. Maybe up to March, April we'll get rain. And then we'll have the dry winter months. So May, June, July, August we'll have dry winter months. And then hopefully we'll have a very good rainy season in the next season, which should start. There should be first drops of rain around September, start of October, and then through our entire summer. I found a tambuti. Now I must just get to leaf. Yeah. There's a tiny bit of this milky latex coming out. This is quite toxic. They also use this toxin to eliminate a bit of competition. It's called antibiosis, where they push toxins into the soil, and that helps to eliminate other competition from other plants. Often grass species don't grow around these trees, especially if you find big thickets, clumps of them together. That is also a great place for leopard and lion to go lie in during the day. Nice and cool. They grow quite thick and there's a lot of shade, and there's no grass. So if it's a rainy day, there's no wet grass that they're gonna lie in. Predators don't like water, especially your big cats. I've seen videos of wild dogs being chased by lions, and the dogs run over a little stream and lions come to a halt. They don't move, and they tiptoe over the smallest part of the stream to maybe catch up to the wild dogs, which they wouldn't, because the wild dogs just keep going. So yeah, water they don't like, and it would have been an ideal place for them to have rested for the day. Let's see if we can find anything else around this area. I didn't. No problem. Let's see. Let's keep looking for one of those bulbs that I was talking about to make the whistle with. There's one. Tina, Texas, you want to know if I've ever followed a honey guide? Personally, I haven't, but I've heard stories of guys that have, and yeah, they have been successful in finding the honey. You know that to keep the relationship going and to keep it going on the right track, you have to give a little bit of the honeycomb and leave that for the honey guide. But yeah, no, personally I haven't have had the privilege of following one. Let me quickly cut this open. I think this might be a little bit small, but it'll be able to show us the idea of what we want to do. You can see there's silk in here from the larvae. Oh, there's a spider in here. So, oh no, it's an ant. No, it's a spider. What is this? I have no idea. It should be a spider. Look at this silk. I don't know. I can't see what this is. I actually don't know. Let's leave it running on my body for a bit. It does look like an ant. I agree with that. But it's jumping around with silk, and it's using a silk strand to move away from us. So unless there's an ant that has a silk gland, I don't know. You can see all the silk that's in here as well. So this thing's a little bit broken up, but basically this is what you would do for a whistle. Then you'd hope for a bigger one, put your fingers in like this, and then blow into it, get a whistle. I don't think we're going to get anything out of this, but let's give it a shot. No, a little bit small, but we tried. It's amazing though. Let me just want to show you something inside, if we can get in here, how the plant protects itself and regrows and gives this thing more structure. I don't know if we're going to see it, but see how thick this is. It's almost like the cambium layer thickens around this area, around the bulb, and gives this more structure. We're going to head over to Taylor with one of our larger predators in this area.
I feel as though it has been ages since we last saw all the girls together with all their little cubs. Well, I suppose you can't say little anymore, as the Nkahumas, the cubs, have almost tripled in size. But like I said, I'm happy to report that all 5 lionesses are here, and of course all 6 cubs are. And the one on the far left you can see fast asleep. That is my favorite little lioness in the whole world. But she seems to be hot, panting away, enjoying an afternoon siesta, as of course the cats do. Now, you can still see she's still got a bit of mange on her. It hasn't cleared entirely, especially around her elbows. You can see she's very patchy. You can see the hair doesn't look too healthy. And then also if you go up towards her ears, you can see, look at that she has got mange. But I think that these lions are such fighters that they should be all right. The others are looking okay. A little bit scruffy. And of course, the skin showing on the back of their legs. You see, there you go. That's actually really nice. You can see how the mite has eaten away at the hair follicles and then left, of course, no hair at all. And it creates that patchy sort of skin, but it doesn't look horrendous. I mean, they don't look anywhere near like the Styx cubs did. So I think that they should be okay. And you can notice the big fat belly, of course, on this lion cub, and that's because they did catch a buffalo. And that's in the distance, underneath a tree. Well, they were trying to make an attempt at hiding it from the vultures, but I did spot a couple of vultures that were sitting in the tree, but they unfortunately flew away when we arrived. You can see one of the cubs still suckling. And we're going to get to the point, though, where they're going to finish up, because the older set of cubs are about 7 months old now. And then, of course, the middle group, 6 months, and little Floppy Ear, who is only 5 months old. Now, Mike, you were saying that you didn't think you'd see all 6 cubs still here just a month ago, and I have to agree with you. It got very, very scary, especially just before I went on leave when we had the bouts of white mussel disease come through. But I honestly think that that's the end of the white mussel disease. It was only because there was very poor nutrients in the grass, and the buffalo weren't able to get enough vitamin E into their bodies, and vitamin A and all sorts of other goodies. And of course then that, well, unfortunately was a negative impact, of course, on these lions. But now you can see all the lovely green grass that has come through with the rain that we've had. And like I said in the beginning of the show, these animals recover very, very quickly. And we did see some buffalo the same afternoon when we had shadow. And you could see even them, barring one buffalo, how they'd improved, how they'd fattened up again. And that can only mean good for our favorite pride, the Nkuhumas. I still can't believe that they're suckling, though, especially these older cubs. They're very cheeky. And I hope they stay cheeky. They need to stay the cheekiest cubs in the Sabi sand. But I'm sure you must be so happy that you're having a look at all of them. Now, you're probably only thinking that you can only count 4 lionesses. It's because there's one lioness she's lying off into the distance. She's the clever one. She's lying in the shade. You can sort of just see her there, very well camouflaged. But they are indeed all here. Now, Jen B, you just said I should have a look at the end of Floppy Ear's tail. I shouldn't be laughing, but that is so funny. And you're quite right. Look at it. She's lost all the hair to the tip of her tail. That's actually quite amazing to see. Normally we never see the tip of the tail like that. It's always covered in hair. Don't you think it looks like the plant baboon's tail? Now, Tina, you're wondering if the hair is going to grow back on the end of that tail. I think once she recovers, if she does recover, but you know me, I'm very optimistic about my favorite little girl. So I reckon when she does recover, I think it will grow back, but it might take some time. Even with the others that have got the damage around sort of the elbows and things, I think it will take a couple of months for that hair to grow back, maybe even a little bit longer. But they should beat it. I mean, the adults are looking very, very healthy, full bellies. They're looking absolutely lovely. And I'm really excited to have a look and see our youngest lioness. I wonder if this is her. Vian, do you think this is her? She's got a very pink nose, so it could be the youngest lioness of the pride. Maybe it is. We'll have to wait until one of them decides to open their eyes, of course, so we can tell the difference between amber eyes and the young girl. And she was one of my favorites when I first arrived here and was introduced to the Nkuhuma pride. Just because she was such a keen huntress. She was always the first one to go into stalking mode. Remember, we had that incredible sighting of her chasing around that big giraffe bull. That was really entertaining. And I'm still waiting for the day that the Nkuhumas take down a fully grown giraffe. I reckon with all the girls that are now in this pride, and hopefully these young cubs do make it to adulthood, I think that it would be a very, very strong pride. See, this little cub is looking good. Very nice coat. Not too much damage from the mange. Ears look good. Not too many ticks either. Obviously doing a good job at grooming a couple though. But that's to be expected when you're a young cub, because you don't quite do a very good job at grooming. You're a little bit inexperienced, and I think a little bit lazy as well. But when there's something stuck between your toes, there's nothing more frustrating. So it's important that you put enough effort in to get it out. And this is definitely the case. Well, we're going to hang around for a little bit longer and see what these Nkuhumas get up to. But for the moment, they're just having a siesta. So while they do this, let's shoot back across to Brent. And well, I don't even know where Brent is.
I'm still searching for that. Proving to be very elusive male leopard at the moment, Tingana. Oh. I'm going to check down the fire break, back around towards Mvubu Road. Hello, little one. Don't you dare run away. Oh, and off it goes. Murphy's Law with the little Steenbok. There we go. Little, beautiful. Oh, off it goes. Don't like to hang around when you're bite-sized. Cross the road. Put up. Where could this leopard be? Hyena tracks. Hi, Mike would like to know, would a drone frighten the leopards? Not in my experience at all, Mike. They seem to ignore it completely. Lion, leopard and hyena seem to take no notice of the drone whatsoever. I was hoping to find some leopard tracks here, but I have found something else.
Hello. We are still on the prowl. There was a male leopard seen in this area earlier. We're trying to see if we can get his tracks. We haven't picked up anything as of yet, but let's keep moving and see if we can pick up anything. I was also looking for one of those bulbs, but I haven't found one yet. I'd like to keep going and try and make that whistle. I've got a couple of tips from Herbert as how to make it properly and get it working. There's a spider web here. Just look at, I nearly broke its web. It looks like it's just started making it. It's probably attached it here. It might be living in the tree somewhere at the moment. Probably attached it here. You can see it's anchored a bit, and then had a drift with the wind. This little strand all the way through to this tree here, where it got attached again. Here, and maybe tonight it'll come out and make a bit of a bigger web in the middle somewhere to catch some insects. I don't know exactly what spider made this, but yeah, it's quite interesting. It's amazing how strong they are. You can see the play that it has. It's a bit difficult to see there. This plant looks like a paper bark. It's a thorn tree, it's an acacia species. And apparently you can use these thorns to... Sorry, Herbert's just spotted something. Let's quickly move to him, see what he's seen there. What are you looking at, Obi? Some dwarf mongoose. Some are on this termite mound to our right. There's a little guy on this fallen log. I don't know if you can see it. If you just come past me, you can just see his head sticking out in the sun. Beautiful. So while Taylor is looking at the amazing lions, we are with the smallest mammalian predator that we have in this area. Yeah, that's them calling, contact calling. Some are busy. It looks like they want to come out, maybe. Don't know, I can't see them yet. But the call is coming from the termite mound, from one of the holes that they have. So these guys, they live in little colonies of a couple of group members, maybe 10, 15 members together, moving around, not very far from the safety of their termite mound, looking for food, foraging around, looking for insects to feed on. Let's see, we might get a nice shot here. And any alarm that they do get, anything that scares them, they run back into cavities of trees. There, it's just gone into its hole. You can just see him sticking out there. So that's a perfect place for him to hide away from any predators. Maybe birds of prey that want to catch it. Maybe a snake. These guys are not like the banded mongoose that do kill snakes. So I've never seen them or heard of them killing snakes. I might be wrong, but I don't know of any cases like that. So yeah, with them, you often see them feeding with yellow-billed hornbills. The hornbills fluttering around, also catching insects, and it's also a nice way for both species to have a bit of extra safety, extra eyes and ears looking out for things. I know the fork-tailed drongo, I don't know if you saw one this morning on drive, they mimic calls of other birds, and sometimes they'll call like a pearl-spotted owlet. And I've heard that with meerkat, with surrogates in the Kalahari Desert, they mimic that call and they chase. The animals leave a nice prey that they caught, run into their holes, scurry away, and this bird comes in and takes it and steals it from them. They don't do it too often because you don't want to be the boy that cries wolf the whole time. So they do it every now and then when they see a nice juicy insect for them to eat, steal it from them and carry on. Let's see what else is in this area. Getting back to that paper bark and the thorns, it looks like there's one here. Let's just get back to that. These thorns, you dry them out, you crush them up, mix that with water, and if you've got a sore in your eye or maybe dried out eyes again, you can put that mixture into your eye and that should clear it up according to the local knowledge. Diane, you are saying that the mongoose we were looking at is looking like a baby, or it looked like a baby. It does, I think so. It looked like a youngster. It was still very small compared to the bigger ones. Not that they are the most big or the biggest thing out here, but yeah, that had probably a body of about this big. The adults get maybe a little bit bigger like this, I would guess. So yeah, definitely a youngster. Quite nice to see that they're so relaxed with us. Normally it's the youngsters that are in first. They're not as used to human presence and people moving around in the bush as the adults would have been, having had and experienced people around there maybe a bit more often, or a few times at least. Here's an interesting digging. Something was looking for roots and rhizomes of something. I think this is a porcupine that dug here. It looks like a porcupine that dug out roots. You can see there's maybe a bit of feeding here, I don't know. Looks like it. Yeah, maybe looking for the shape of this kind of gives me the idea of it being a porcupine. If it was something like an aardvark, it would have been maybe a lot bigger, and there would have been a termite mound. So aardvark, they eat the termites in a termite mound. There's no sign that there's a termite mound in the area, and all these uprooted grass roots gives me the idea that this is most likely a porcupine that was feeding here. Sometimes when you track porcupines, or you see their tracks, you can see the claw marks that's on the stomach or at the back. As they walked, you see these little fine lines in the ground where they walked. This isn't a recent one, so I don't think we'll see any tracks or claw marks. We are going to head over to Brent. He's got a feathered friend.
Look at this, one of our less seen little franklin species, the coqui franklin. Oh, are you going to hop, hop, hop? There we go. Oh, into the grass. Beautiful little things. The coqui franklin. Now, we've been looking for Tingana for quite some time now, and I've just decided, let us just give the area a break. We'll come back when it's a bit cooler and he's more likely to be on the move. Oh, hello. What have we got there? We've got some kudus. Yay, an animal! Other than the impala that snorted and the steenbokkie, we haven't seen too many mammal species today, so let's go have a look at the kudu. Nice little herd of kudu. Don't run away now. Well, everyone seems to be a bit jumpy in this area today. Could be because that Tingana might have been on the move through here. Hi guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 6 or 7. Looking much healthier now that we've had a bit of rain. Already picked up condition. No big males with this group that we can see. There's always that old adage, for every kudu you can see, there's 2 in the bush you can't. They are incredibly adept at just melting into their surroundings. And nicknamed the Grey Ghost. Well, they are ghosting off into some thickets. Now, unfortunately, we had to disappear a little bit earlier. We had a bit of an antenna malfunction. Oh no, there it is. I was telling you about the flower I found. There we go. Eden has told you it's so cool. Sorry, it was about to blow away. It's so cool, it doesn't even have a common name. It is called a Hemizygia pretoria. Now, Hemizygia pretoria. Now, the really cool thing about this flower is the smell. And when you crush the leaves up a bit, so lovely. Ryan, would you like a smell? It smells like coconut oil, or like Pisbane sun cream. Very, very nice, and you can use it in potpourri and it's the only real use for it. You can dry the leaves. That smell does have a residue, and it can be used in potpourri. Not something I know much about, potpourri. Do you know how to make potpourri, Brian? No. I don't know anyone who knows how to make potpourri. Maybe my gran knows how to make potpourri. But we're going to keep moving. Oh. Hold on, guys. We're on our way. Sorry, I just need to be on the game drive. It's a bit loud. Well done, Zay. I'm also going to be joining you. Okay, there's a surprise! Hold on, we're on a Ferrari safari. Okay, sorry, I just had to make sure. Okay, hold on. We're going to get there as soon as possible. It's a little bit far. Oh, Rexon's beating me. He's on the way. Oh, no, I have to eat dust now. Darn it, Rexon. Oh, dear. I think we're going to have to use our V8 petrol to beat his 4.2 diesel. I'm going to have to use a different route. Okay, so we're going to shoot as fast as we can and try not to eat too much of Rexon's dust. While we do that, let's go back to Taylor and the incredible Nkahumas.
Brent, I can't see why you wouldn't want to eat any of Rexon's dust because, well, dust is just so tasty and, of course, so delicious. Now, we're still with the Nkahumas, and not much has changed, unfortunately. They're still sleeping, and we've just changed an angle to get a bit of shade ourselves. And, well, we're happy to sit here for a little bit longer until there are many more guides coming to the sighting, and then we'll have to head on out. But for the moment, we've got it all to ourselves, so we will just take a deep breath and enjoy the beautiful nature and these cubs. VM, I don't know if I like it here. Can you see that big paddy over there? Now, sadly, that is not buffalo dung. That is, of course, lion feces, and you can see all the flies racing to it because it's the most delicious thing that they have tasted all day long. It is like a buffet. But we're getting a few little whiffs every now and then. But we'll try not to smell it for too much longer. And it seems as though we are downwind again of the lions, so let's hope that they don't, create any more wind than we've got this afternoon. Now remember, we are on a live safari, and I'd love to hear from you. And if you have just started watching for the first time and you don't know too much about the Nkahumas, well, you're welcome to ask me. And you can do so by hashtagging Safari Live, or you can send any questions through to questions@wildearth.tv. Now, I must tell you, though, the people that know more about the Nkahumas than I do, of course, are the loyal viewers that we've had over the many, many years. So they always help me out. So you'll hear me asking them questions every now and then. And it's nice. I love the fact that we can all help each other. But it is a real cat pile at the moment. I can't believe that they're all snuggled up like this on such a hot day. And here comes another vehicle entering the sighting. And we're one step closer, of course, to getting the Nkuhumas back onto Djuma, where they belong, where their territory is strong within that property. Because if they hang around on Arathusa for too long, they might run the risk of running into the Tsalalas. Even though the Tsalalas will be well outnumbered with the two, well, no, not really. They've got 3 young males. But of course, they don't have any cubs. And we know what these lionesses are like and what they will do to protect their cubs from anybody else. So I'd be a little bit nervous to try and challenge these ladies. Now we're looking at these big tummies, and maybe this is a good opportunity to have a look. Now, Leandri, you were wondering how many of these lion cubs are males and how many are females. Now, the last time that I checked, I could only find 1 male. And I did see him sit. I can't really see. Is that him there on the right? A little bit further. That looks like it's a male with a big belly. Let's go. And then I can see a little girl. I can see another little girl. It's a bit hard to tell, but I reckon that most of these cubs are all females, and I've definitely only seen 1 male. But every time since I've been back at work and I've tried to have a look at them, unfortunately they were covering up, so we couldn't see their bits that make them either male or female. You can see very clearly now that that's a little boy. And it will get much easier, though, as they get older, especially if they're boys, because you're going to start to see their chests getting quite hairy. The hair is going to grow longer and on the side of their faces. And, well, I can tell you for sure that that little one is definitely not a boy. Is that a... No, that's a little girl. Looks like a little girl too. We'll have to see. Most of these look like girls, barring the one. But there is one little cub that, unfortunately, I can't see because it's still cuddled up near Mom over there, hiding behind the bushes. So I'm going to go with 5 girls and 1 boy, but I stand under correction. Maybe some of you have got some good screenshots, and since I was on holiday and since I've come back, I think I've only seen them once or twice, and they've been lying in the thicker vegetation. So maybe you've had a look with either Jamie or Brent or James or even Byron, and you were able to get a better idea at the sexes of the cubs, especially now that we unfortunately have lost 2. You can see my little flip-flop is flapping those ears. There's obviously some insects that are biting her. Keep flapping. Maybe there's some ants or something. And that's always a possibility. The lions never really look where they plonk themselves down. And that seems to be something that lions like to do quite often, is plonk themselves over after they've stood up. So maybe she's sitting on an ant's nest. Now, if we have a look at their beautiful little feet, you'll notice, because I don't think noticed with a D is a word, that you can't see their claws. Now, Debbie from Arizona was wondering if they shed their claws and pull them off like a house cat does, and you're quite right, they do indeed. Scratching is a very important part of a lion's sort of daily activities. They'll go up to trees especially and sharpen their claws, and not only does it sharpen the claws, but Debbie, like you said, it removes the old nail sheath, and most importantly it strengthens the tendons in their paws. So that's very, very important, especially for these little ones. At one point we almost saw them doing it a couple of times a day when we were sitting with it as they were climbing up trees. They absolutely love to do that, and I'm sure it must feel quite nice, especially for the youngsters too, like a big stretch first thing in the morning. Oh, and I'm sure you can hear all the flies that are surrounding us. So I am covering up my face because I know where they've been sitting. They've been on that lion feces and they've been on the buffalo carcass. So I do not want them anywhere near my mouth or in my nose or on my ears. Fast asleep. Now, I'm hoping that in a couple of minutes we're going to get a bit of action, but at the moment it's not really looking too promising. You can see they haven't really yawned or given us any signs of them waking up. So we'll just chat about a couple of other things. Now, Heather, you were wondering when will the lion cubs join the adults in hunting. Now, Heather, I don't know if you actually were watching, but I had the most incredible sighting. It was probably about a month ago. It was right in front, or near the dam cam, actually, just behind it. And the lionesses had caught a young buffalo out in the open. And, well, the adults were nowhere to be seen. We just missed it, though. But the little one was still alive. And it was the most incredible sighting I've seen of these lions, because the lionesses just sat close by. And they allowed the young cubs to come across and jump on the young buffalo calf's back and actually practice some of the maneuvers that they normally practice on themselves. So that was really amazing to see and different. I've never seen anything like that. You normally see it with cheetah, where the adults will bring back animals that they haven't quite killed properly to teach their young, and I have seen it with leopards too, but I've never seen it with lions. So that was a really interesting experience. However, normally, of course, there we go, the little claws coming out. Did you see that? Normally, the little cubs will start to join in at about 1.5 years. They'll start to go on the hunts, but they'll really just sit back and observe. And I always say this, but unfortunately, it's tougher and tougher for the adults, and their success rate drops even lower because these little cubs get so excited and eager, and they'll sort of run towards the animal that perhaps the lionesses and the big male lions have been stalking for ages, and completely ruin the hunt because they got too excited and ran too early. And that's probably my next thing now, is I love to see the cubs when they're little, and I mean, I don't think anybody doesn't enjoy tiny little lion cubs. But the next thing that I'm looking forward to is watching these cubs get to 1.5 years and start going out on the hunts, because it is hysterical. You can actually almost see the frustration in the adult lionesses' faces, sort of just how annoyed they get when the little ones dash on in. Like I said, they get too excited and often ruin the hunts. But the look of eagerness on the little cubs is just absolutely priceless. And they just think that they're doing a sterling job as well. And that's what's going to happen now in summer, is because it's so much hotter now, we're not going to see them as active and feeding on the carcasses as early. I think they're going to save it until as it gets a little bit cooler. Well, let's see what this lioness does now. No, just turning over and plonking back down. But I suspect that they will only get moving a little bit later. All wriggling around, you can see there's definitely something that's bothering them, whether it's the flies or biting ants. It could be anything, really. I'm annoyed with just the flies. So if I was a lion, or any animal, I don't think I'd sit still ever. I'd just be moving around, swatting, kicking, biting, doing all the things to try and get rid of all the little parasites. Now, at the moment, even though these cats look very flat and sleepy, don't be fooled by that. And I know that Sandeep was wondering if lions mainly hunt during the day or at night. Now, Sandeep, it's a little bit more than that. Lions are, like leopards, of course, and the other cats, they're opportunistic feeders. So what that means is that they take any opportunity that they can get to try and catch something. Whether they're unsuccessful or successful or not, that doesn't really matter, but they will make an attempt. So even though they're fast asleep here and they have got a kill, if something like a warthog or another buffalo were to come walking through here, sort of unaware of these sleepy cats, they'd probably get up and try and have a go. And it doesn't matter that it's so hot either. So ideally, they would hunt on a night where there's no stars or moon and thick cloud cover, because they have the upper hand. They're able to see very, very well at night. I was reading the other day that lions are able to see in light 1/6 of that of a human needs to see in the evenings at night. So how crazy is that? So that's how little light these cats need to be able to move around and hunt successfully, is 1/6 of the light that we as humans need to see when it is dark. I thought that was absolutely incredible. So yeah, so they can hunt really at any time of the day. And it depends on sort of the area as well. Out here, the lions, it's quite easy for them to hunt during the day because there's lots of shrubs and things and tall grass at the moment for them to hide behind. But it can get quite difficult, I think, if you've only got massive open plains with very short grass. Perhaps you're experiencing a little bit of a drought. Then it would be really tough, and you'd probably have to try and hunt a little bit later in the day when you have got the cover of darkness, especially if you're a male lion. Because if you're just hunting in short grass during the day, you're not going to be able to conceal yourself very well, and everything from a mile away will spot you and alert the rest of the animals of your presence. I reckon, though, that these nkuhumas are probably going to rest here for most of the afternoon. So I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to go and have a scratch around and see if we can't maybe find some elephants. That was something that I was really hoping to see today. And if we hear of these lions getting active or moving around at all, well, then we'll certainly come and pop back past. But it was lovely for them just to poke their heads out and say hello. I know you've all missed them just as much as I have. But maybe we see them again a little bit later, and I'm sure we'll follow up on them again in the morning. But I think that Evia is probably missing all of you. I've been hogging you with the lions, so let's go back across and see how his afternoon walk is treating him.
Hello, hello. We're at a watering hole again. Don't worry, I'm not going to swim this afternoon. It's been nice and hot, but I'm not looking to get wet again. Wet and dirty, once a day is good enough. There are some terrapins in the water though. You can just see the heads bobbing up, just out, getting a bit of air, maybe waiting for something to come in. Maybe later somewhere a buffalo or something will come past here and walk into the water. That allows these guys to catch, maybe take the ticks off them. I've seen a terrapin actually propel itself out the water to take a tick off a buffalo. So they're quite little busybodies. One thing with terrapins though, never try and catch them. They smell horrible. You get that stuff on your hands, it takes a few washes to get that off. Let's move past here. Let's see if we can maybe see a nice clear track of something that visited. Annie, you are asking where I went to school and how long I've been a guide. I've been guiding since 2009. I went to a guiding school in the Waterberg, a couple of hours north of Johannesburg, called Limpopo Field Guide Academy. And I did my basic training there, and I've been lucky that I've had a couple of mentors in the process. In the last 4 years, I've met a couple of very influential people in my career, and they've helped me grow to what I've become today. So yeah, I went to school, high school I went to in a place called Potchefstroom. I went to Potchefstroom Gymnasium. That's in the Northwest Province, about an hour's drive west of Johannesburg, and grew up on a farm not far from there. So that gives you a bit of an idea. Luckily, I've been outdoors for most of my life, but I think I told you that yesterday on the drive. It looks like, let me just have a closer look here. What has come to drink here? The track is a little bit obscured. Might be, it looks like a wildebeest maybe came past here. The track that I can see see, a wildebeest has got quite a square shape to the track. If you look at this, you can almost draw a little box around it and it fits in perfectly, doesn't angle too much in. The males have a very square foot, so you can see that immediately, but yeah, nothing very clear, just this one or two tracks that we can look at. I think it's wildebeest. There are a couple of birds in the distance, some francolins calling. I think all the birds Lady Lone Wolf, you are asking how long it took to get all that mud off. Well, a couple of showers. First I went to an outdoor shower, spent maybe 5 or 10 minutes trying to get majority of that off, dried up again, and then went through a normal shower and got clean. But it took a while, and I must say it was very nice and exfoliating. It has been a lovely afternoon out in the bush with you. I'm so glad I could have shared that with you. We're going to head over to Taylor for an update. Have a lovely evening.
We're going on a bumble to Red Dam. We're heading there and hope to find some elephants in the dam. That's my little song for this afternoon. I just sometimes get a small amount of inspiration that comes through, and well, then I'm lucky enough that it comes together and it rhymes. So, as my song said, which I cannot remember one of the words to, we're going to Red Dam to see if there are any elephants, or well, maybe our friends the white-faced whistling ducks are there. I quite enjoy them. They're a nice bird to have a look at. Maybe that three-banded plover is chasing the wood sandpiper around. That could be quite exhilarating. But I need to, we shall give this vehicle way. We'll just pull off the road very quickly, be nice and polite. And then we will carry on with our adventure to Red Dam. Hello everybody, have a nice afternoon. What did you see them? Guinea fowl. Where were they? Oh, look at that. That's really cool. It is a guinea fowl, well spotted, jumping off of a fallen tree. And well, like we see the leopards and lions and kudu and all sorts of things climbing up to higher places to have a scout around, well, something like a guinea fowl will do exactly the same thing. And of course, I think that they need to do it more than everything else, seeing as they're further down on the food chain. And the guinea fowl and its bright blue head are disappearing behind some shrubs. So we won't get too distracted. We'll carry on with our bumble towards Red Dam. Now I'm just looking where I need to turn. Where do I go? Here. Well, I just turned right here. I don't know if this is where I'm supposed to go, but we'll go here. Now, Ilana, who is 13 years old, hello, you were wondering what do we need to do before we come out on a sunset safari. Now, the most important thing you have to do is apply sunscreen. You've got to put lots and lots of that on, because even though it's summer and we're starting the drives a little bit later, you wouldn't think that the sun would be so harsh, but unfortunately it is. So it's always good to lather up, and you don't see it very often, but VM and I, we keep applying sunscreen all the time. And well, then you just sort of make sure that you've got all your goodies. I've got a big outdoor case. It's a waterproof sort of box, and inside that box it has got my camera, it's got some books, it's got hand lotion, because I like to try and keep my hands soft like a baby's bottom. And it's not at the moment though, because I got a new tire today, so my hands are filthy from doing that before drive. And then you've got to do checks. So we drive these beautiful cars, but we have to make sure that they're in good running order. And in order to do that, so I'm just going to check the GPS one more time. We'll go to this one. Are we going the right way, VM? Well, we'll go on this one until we get somewhere. No, I think we need to go right there. Sorry, I'm changing my mind. So, like I was saying, you got to lift up the hood of the vehicle, check the oil, check the water, power steering fluid, check all other goodies. Make sure that the tires are fine, that there's no punctures that you maybe have, and make sure, we have a variety of checks. Should I do my checks with you? So Louise or Kirsty or Rebecca or Jerry will say in my ear, right, Taylor, are you ready for your checks? Then I go, yes, I am. And then I have to start. So this is what I do. And this is now once I've obviously got myself in the vehicle. I put my sunscreen on, I've got my water, I've got my box with my books, and now it's ready to do the vehicle check. So I do my thumbs up, I say I'm ready, and today it was Louise that I was talking to, and I said, my earpiece seems to be okay, my comms are wonderful, all the fluids are top to the brim, I've got air in my 4 tires, and this afternoon I said, and I'm on my way to collect a new spare tire and one that I wouldn't break. And what else? And then I have a fire extinguisher, rain covers, first aid kit, and a panga/machete, because you've got to be very specific when it's Louise with a panga/machete. She thinks, well, I don't know what Louise actually thinks about the two, but it's just a little joke we have. And then she'll give me the go ahead and say, right, fantastic. Then I have to clap, clap, and tap, tap. You're seeing all the behind the scenes things now that I'm doing for you, so they can check if we're in sync. And then VM does all his checks as well for the camera, and then, well, we're normally set to go. But I have a ritual, and everybody laughs at me, because once I've done all those checks and everything is for away, the last thing I do is I get back out the vehicle again, I go to the bathrooms, and I wash my hands. I'm so OCD, but I didn't get to do that today. Well, I didn't do it very well. Something is dirty in here because my hands are filthy at the moment. But yes, that's what I normally do. So, Alana, I hope that answers your question on exactly what I do every single day. Well, what all of us do as guides. Right. Bima, we're far from Red Dam. I don't even know where we are. You don't think we're going to... Oh, you know where we are? We are on parallel north. Okay, that's fine. We're going the scenic way around to Red Dam. That's okay. Right, now, finally, Brent has managed to get where he's got to after racing off and eating Rex's dust. Let's take a look.
Look at this, isn't this incredible? It looks like young Hosana, and he's playing on a fallen down tree above a pan. And I think it is definitely young Hosana. No sign of Shongile. We've just got here. It was quite far away from where we were. And just beautiful golden light on this young male leopard. No sign of his mother or his sister. He's growing up so quickly. Remember, this is a live African safari. You can get hold of us by using the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter, or pop us an email to questions@wildearth.tv. Where's your mother, mister? And your sister, for that matter. Oh, a woodlands kingfisher just dived into the pan next to Hosana there. Now, James is wondering, now that Krula's been mating, and if she happens to become pregnant from this set of mating, would she tolerate Hosana around another set of cubs, or would she force him to move off? It's far more likely she would force him to move off. He is a threat to other cubs, young cubs. He would probably kill them and maybe even eat them. It is not uncommon for male leopards, young male leopards, to eat leopard cubs. How's it, Craig? Good, good. Hi, everyone. There you go. He's having a drink. Let's try and move into a different spot. Now he is just behind the log, but I think we might get a nice view through the gap there. How's that, Brian? Here we go. Hello, Mr. Hosana. Isn't he absolutely gorgeous? Now, it is unusual for him to be, and he's probably been on his own for about 5 or 6 days now that his mother's been mating. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, whether she comes back to them. I think she will come back to the cubs, even though she has been mating. But it's going to be very, very interesting to see. Hopefully we will be there for the reunion. Prim coming. Look at that. Isn't that stunning? So he is able to survive at the moment. He'll be catching dwarf mongoose, squirrels. I mean, I heard he actually even caught a duiker, so an adult duiker, which is a really big meal for a young male leopard like him. But there has been records of young males being independent from as young as 9 months, not 6 months, 9 months old and surviving. But there's something, obviously, I think, maybe a terrapin or a tortoise that's attracting his attention, or sorry, under there. Hi, Nora. Nora wonders, does it look like he's full, or is he eaten recently? Nora, he doesn't look too unfull. He's not too bad. He could definitely do with a meal, but he's by no means starving just yet. So guys, I just need to, I'm the only vehicle here, I just need to control the guys coming in quickly. Mark, you and Ephraim are standby 1 and 2. Prim, if you copy, you can make your way straight in. Hilton is approaching at the moment. There we go, there he is. Oh, he looks like he's off on a mission again. So you can see he definitely has looked like he has eaten something, but he is by no means a very fat cat at the moment. Oh, is he stalking something in there? Is there unsuspecting little critter in that tree fall? Now, Virginia is wondering if he is not already at an age where he will disperse away from his mother's natal area. No, Virginia, at this age he would get absolutely torn apart by the first female leopard he came upon, let alone a big adult male. He needs to be over 2 years old and be quite a lot bigger. He's still a little bit smaller than his mum. He needs to be substantially bigger before he has a really good chance of successfully dispersing. Let's just shoot around. Get a good view of him. He is definitely turning into one of my favorites. He has got quite the little character that's developing. And one must remember, like lots of different things. The individual leopards here will have individual characters, and sometimes, oh, there we go. Look at that! Oh, he just jumped across the pan. As I said, he's developing this wonderful little character as he gets older. He's after a terrapin. He's going for a terrapin. This could be how he's been surviving. Oh, it's gone into a bit deeper water for him there. Now, he would not get much meat out of that, but while his mother's not here, there is a chance he would get enough to survive. So maybe he's been going from wallow to wallow, munching on the terrible tasting terrapins. There we go. So the terrapin's popped its head up again. Oh, it popped its head down. There you can see the movement there. That's the terrapin. And he's got his back to young Hosana. And Hosana's taken his eyes off the prize. Hi, Janie, who's our new viewer. Janie would like to know why terrapins don't hunt in packs. Why leopards don't hunt in prides like lions. Terrapins don't hunt in prides either, I promise. Sorry about that, Janie. I was concentrating on what I was watching and not what I was saying. Well, the reason they don't is they've developed to be solitary hunters. So for them, they're far more successful as a solitary hunter than they are as a group hunter. And then they don't attack things that are as big as lions, so they generally keep to smaller prey, medium to large, sometimes sized antelope. Oh, the terrapin's coming closer to him. I don't think he wants to get his feet wet though. He's keeping very still. A terrapin almost looks to be mocking, "You can't get me, I'm in the water." Now, of course, if he got hungry enough and desperate enough, he might go into that water and start fishing for that terrapin. Now, they do have quite a powerful bite, more of a nip. And I've seen them nip a buffalo trying to get ticks off their bodies that can create quite a lot of discomfort. There we go. Wouldn't it be funny if he leapt into the mud wallow just like FW did, Fair did this morning? Look at this, isn't this incredible? Terrapin just managed to gap it at the right time. Now this could be fascinating if he's been surviving on terrapins while his mom's been away. That is absolutely incredible. I have heard of leopards eating terrapins before, but very rarely. Oh, head's popped up. And as we're saying, I'm just talking about FW, and Cypriot saying, FW mentioned that the terrapins smell quite nasty. They do. Well, it's actually their dung, and their main defensive mechanism is to discharge the most foul-smelling, sickly, sticky dung, and that's what keeps them away. Well, helps to keep predators away. Oh, is he going to leap? It almost looked like he thought about having a leap across to that little island. Mr. Hosana, are you that desperate, boy? Now, of course, this is young Hosana, but Laura is wondering, does anyone know whether there's been a sighting of Shongile? Not that I've heard, Laura. I haven't heard of any sightings of the female for about a week now. Sorry about that, Brian. There's the terrapin. It's moved across. It's got a little spit of land in between. Oh, he's leaning up to try and see over. Now, he could easily make that leap, but he doesn't particularly want to get wet. Now, Kathy would like to know, do big cats not swim? It's not that they can't swim, and they just don't like swimming. And you must remember, a lot of animal behavior is area specific rather than species specific. So leopards that live in places like the Congolese rainforests and the Okavango Delta will regularly swim between islands. But leopards that live in the dry low veld of South Africa don't swim very often if they can help it at all. They would rather find a narrow spot where they can leap. Is that terrapin? I can't see where the terrapin is anymore. Prim, just check if that other mover behind you isn't with the one Sati, Karula. Oh, see, he spotted the terrapins having a big party on the opposite side to where he is. You can see they're frothing up the water underneath that log. A little bit more to the left there. There we go. You can see all the making a big ruckus, or as terrapin ruckuses go. Just trying to see what he's going to do. And he might come back towards us. We're going to have a look now. Let's roll forward ever so slightly. Now, Lady Macbeth says, food or wet water? Big decision. Steph? Steph, is just Karula's Mampimpan, just one, yeah. Ingwe? FM. Copy, thanks. Well, there we go. That's an interesting update from the guys in the east. They have got Karula probably about 400 meters, 500 meters from here, but outside of our traverse. So, and still south of the boundary. So it's going to be interesting to see if she comes into this area now. Fingers crossed. Look at that. He's sitting in quite the, you know who used to sit like that? Think, Brian. Wasn't it Tigger? And Winnie the Pooh? I think he's sitting like Tigger. So he looks like he's sitting like Tigger from Winnie the Pooh at the moment. Stretching out his legs. Oh no, everything's happening. Sounds like there's another leopard just been found in Torchwood. I'm just going to try to see if we can find out who it is. So look at him, he's watching carefully. Now, I just want to find out from Mike which leopard that is. I think maybe it's that Tingana who we spent most of our time tracking. Mike, can you confirm that that's Tingana? Oh, he got his foot wet. Gobi, thanks. So it seems like Tingana, who've been tracking all afternoon, managed to sneak past us into Torchwood. He must have moved during the heat of the day. I think we were just 2 steps behind him, but fortunately, we're right next to the gorgeous young Hosana. You can hear the insects calling. Now, RC would like to know, does this pan have a name? Where is it? Well, it's the little bit of water that's behind Twin Dams itself. So it's between Gari Main and Twin Dams. It looks like he's just keeping his one paw in the water there. But we're going to sit here, see what happens. Maybe Karula's going to come back. While we do that, let's go see what Taylor's up to.
We've got the most relaxed impala herd just in front of us. And it seems as though the adults have moved away. And all the little ones were staring back at us, watching, and probably still learning what we are and are we something to worry about. But these lot look very, very relaxed. So perhaps they've seen quite a few vehicles over the past couple of weeks, and now they're well used to us. I didn't see any teeny tiny impala lambs here. Some of them don't even, well, most of them didn't even have their umbilical cord anymore, so they must be a couple of weeks old. But off they go, not hanging around for too long, but just long enough that we were able to have a little look. Now we've left Arathusa. The Nkahumas are still flat as anything, so I've decided that we'll probably come and look for something else. And well, what we were going to do is we were actually going to come and have a scratch for Tingana, but I believe that he very sneakily maneuvered obviously through all the drainage systems on Djuma this morning and gave us the slipperoo and is now in Torchwood. So that's a bit of a pity, but we'll go and have a look and see what else is out and about on Djuma on this beautiful afternoon. VM, what do you think about watching the sun go down this afternoon? Something we haven't done in a very long time. I don't know when I last actually saw a sunset, so maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll find a nice open area with a bit of an incline and get up on a high spot, and well, the highest spot on Djuma, and have a look into the distance and watch the beautiful sunset below all the trees. I think that will be a nice idea. But we need to get back on to Djuma. We've got a little bit of a way to go. Duran, who is from Colorado and is actually Dangerous Dave's friend. It's Dave's friend? Is it Dangerous Dave that we're talking about, Louise? Oh, not Dangerous Dave. We've got a visitor, David, in the final control, and it's one of his friends. Sorry about that. Now, you were wondering if we're looking out for, of course, any poachers and things. So that's something that we do quite often. And what we'll do is, because we're usually the first ones out on drive in the morning, it's something I've done at all the lodges I used to work at. Now, there's anti-poaching teams that are walking around, driving around in helicopters. They're doing all sorts of wonderful things. But one of the things you could do is, as you're driving around first thing in the morning and we're looking for the various animal tracks, you keep an eye out for fresh human tracks too. And if you spot anything that doesn't really look very much like the boot of an anti-poaching team, then you actually report it, because it could well be somebody that's walking around on here that shouldn't be walking around here. So we look out for different things like that. But yes, we're always scanning just to make sure, even though we're not an actual anti-poaching team, we're also out driving around every single day. So it's good to keep an eye out on the various animals. And well, we play a big role is in, of course, reporting anything. Like I said, we're the ones that we're driving all over the show all the time. Right, Vim, I think we're going to take the next road in and start finding the perfect spot. Maybe we'll even go across to some open plains and see if impala and zebra, maybe if we're lucky, a wildebeest, maybe if they've started. Don't fly away. There's a fork-tailed drongo just sitting in front of us. Oh, you naughty little thing, you. Off it goes. There it is. It obviously didn't like us coming up too close to it, but a very easy bird to identify, of course, but you all know this, as the name suggests, forked-tailed drongo. It's got a beautiful fork in its tail and a bright red eye. And I hope that you catch many insects this evening. I suspect it will. Nice and warm, and well, we saw those lions twitching and flicking their ears and swatting their tails. So there must be a couple around at the moment. Right. I wonder what we're going to see around here. Now, wasn't it gorgeous looking at... Oh, hang on. Cindy, I'm going to answer your question. Now, look at the Drakensberg Mountains. Look how beautiful they are this evening. You can just see the tops of them over the trees. I love this time of the day. It's almost very hazy. The sky is just starting to change color now. Isn't this just a beautiful mountain range? And imagine what it must have been like a couple of 100 years ago, I'm not sure how long ago, when the animals were able to go all the way from the Sand River and the Sabi River, or even the Crocodile River, and make their way towards those beautiful Drakensberg Mountains in the drier seasons in search of fresh springs that would probably develop at the base of that mountain. Isn't that beautiful? Now, sorry, Cindy, let me get back to your question. You were asking this afternoon, when do baby impalas get weaned from their mothers? Now, it's probably around, they'll start eating grass soon. You'll start to see them nibbling and getting used to the taste of the grass. But it's normally after a couple of months, but they get a bit cheeky, and I love to use the word cheeky. It's probably one of my favorite words. And you often see them well after 6 months still trying to sneak a suckle. But like we see with the elephants and even with the lion cubs, the adults become, or the mothers become a little bit sort of frustrated with them and will tend to kick them off and say, right, no more. And yeah, so it's normally around 6 months or so, then they're done and dusted and they're really just feeding on grass. But they grow so quickly. In the next 2 or 3 months, we probably won't even know the difference between the adults and the little ones. It always amazes me how the impala lambs, and it's vital that they do develop so quickly too, so that they can get on their way and, of course, be able to keep up with the herds. So the smaller you are, the easier you are of a target, and the adults are much quicker. So they grow very quickly and big and strong, which is quite nice. I think we're going to go across to the big open clearings just in front of the DRC. I think that will probably be the best spot. And we're not too far away from there either. Something else that we can keep an eye out for is just as the sun is going down, is maybe we see a couple of dwarf mongoose in some of these termite mounds that we're going past. You see that all the little holes, something like that. I'm going to keep driving. We'll just sort of scan them as we go past, but we may see a couple of them sort of out and about in the last bit of light before they disappear back for the evening. They're unfortunately not nocturnal like their cousins, the white-tailed mongoose. No, nothing in that one. Let's have a look around here, and this big one. No, it doesn't look like there's any mongoose here either, but let's have a proper look. Nope, nobody's home over here. And we normally see dwarf mongoose along Philemon's cut line. They're often racing around here. It must be one of my favorite little animals. I think you saw some this afternoon though with Evia, if I'm not mistaken. Oh wow, Louise just told me that Evia was about 5 meters away from that. That's quite exciting. Oh my goodness. Look at that sneaky little steenbok. Hello, big boy. Oh, isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Oh my goodness. And as he darts away, I've just spotted the female. So she's laying in the grass just to the left. And I don't think she's going to get up. I think she'll stay seated. I think she thinks that we can't see her. And if we were a leopard, hopefully the leopard's attention would have been drawn to the male that darted off. And the female will just sit there quietly hoping that the wind is not in the leopard's favor, or whatever it may be. I always love their big bulgy eyes. But look how camouflaged she is. I mean, if she doesn't move, you would never even notice that she was there. That is just absolutely incredible. And we're seeing a lot of it at the moment, where the male and female steenbok have come together, and hopefully we'll see a couple of little steenbok lambs. I mean, those are absolutely precious. And maybe that'll be a first for some of you. I think I can even count on my hands how many steenbok lambs I've seen. It's not a very common thing. They become very secretive and hide their little ones away. Right, let's carry on. We've got a few more termite mounds to check to see if there are any dwarf mongoose in them. Now, Claire from Ohio, seen as though we've been seeing so many impala this afternoon, you were wondering if the locals actually hunt and eat impala in the area. They do indeed. Oh, and speak of impala, there are a couple of them just off into the thicket. They will indeed catch something like an impala, but in this area that we're in, the Greater Kruger area and the Sabi Sand, this is all protected. So we're not allowed to do any hunting or anything along those lines. In here, we can just shoot them with our cameras and view them with our eyes. That is the only thing we're allowed to do. But they will. Back when this used to be all local and indigenous land, they most definitely would have captured something like an impala, maybe even something a little bit bigger, like a kudu or even a zebra, because remember, when they'd go out to hunt and bring something back, they'd be bringing back to cater for most likely most of the village. So something like an impala wouldn't really go too far. So ideally, if they could catch a kudu, or like I said, maybe a zebra, or even some of the bigger antelope species, but you have to go a bit further north to see them, maybe a sable or an eland. They would have definitely brought those home. And that, of course, would have lasted for quite some time, and they would have been able to have had a big feast. Now, I don't know if any of you have tasted impala or any of the antelope species. Now, me personally, I prefer the antelope species just because, and this is obviously quite controversial, but a lot of our meat these days is so filled with hormones, you don't actually know if you're eating anything real. And the nice thing is that these antelope are left to do their own thing, live in the bush, and of course they're in an area where there are no predators, then they'd need to be culled, and then that meat will get passed by a vet to make sure that there's no parasites or anything along those lines that have infested the meat, and then cleared to head to a butchery or whatever it may be. And I can tell you it's probably a lot healthier than eating beef and all these things that are farmed. Look at the white-crested helmet shrikes, but that's of course just my opinion. I think it's a lot healthier. And I can't believe they're actually sitting so still. I didn't think that was going to last very long. Hello, beautiful birds. All chatting away, having a little chirp. That was lovely just to have a quick glimpse of the white-crested helmet shrikes. That's one of the more difficult birds to actually put up on screen for you, and to have them actually sit still like that for just a couple of seconds is actually quite amazing. So I hope you enjoyed that. Oh, we better get going. Right, now I'm going to have to race onto the open plains because the sun is not waiting for me, and I believe that Brent has got another good view of Hosana.
There's young Hosana. He's just having a bit of a snooze now after his very dismal attempt to hunt terrapins. Very, very happy. I've just heard Shongile has found not very far from here, and she is not far away from here at all. She's about 800 meters, 900 meters, lying on top of a termite mound. Let's try a new spot. Here we go. Here's young Hosana. Now, I'm hoping he doesn't go to the south. So still no sign of Karula. So that report I had of Karula just to the south of us was incorrect. It was actually Shongile. So Shongile is on top of a termite mound to the south of us. No sign of Queen Karula for a while now. Such a good-looking young boy. Hi, Jamie. Jamie is wondering, are the spots on a leopard like a fingerprint in a human? Well, each individual leopard has a unique set of spots, so I could say it is as unique as a human being's fingerprints. He's going to give himself a little clean. Oh, he's going to give us a big yawn. Remember, this is 100% live from the African bush. This is happening in real time. If you want to ask us any questions, hashtag Safari Live or questions at wildearth.tv via email. We are sitting with the gorgeous young male leopard, Hosana. Hosana means the little prince or the little chief. Hi, Julie, who's in California. Julie would like to know, when do male leopards start mating? Normally only around about 5 or 6 years of age. They need to disperse from their natal territory. They need to fight and take over a territory from another male before they'll be afforded mating rights from the females. So normally between 5 and 6 is probably the first time they'll mate. Of course, there are exceptions to all the rules, sometimes a little bit younger, but as a general rule, you'd have to be around 6 years old. Giving himself a good clean. Now, Rashida is wondering if Hosana had a kill and Shongile happened upon, would he share it with her? It's only if he was very, very full and he couldn't eat anymore. But generally he would try to keep the lion's share for himself. There we go. Did he hear something? Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. Hey, mister. What's going on? What did you hear? Right, I see. We can't really see what he's looking at. There's a twin dams behind us. He might have heard something. So wonderful being able to just sit here peacefully with one of Africa's most elusive cats. Hello, Kathy. Kathy says, I don't know if I can see, but does he have yellow eyes? I wouldn't say they're yellow, Kathy. I'd say they're more golden. Most of the big cats have a sort of golden tinged eye. There we go. You can see it there. I wouldn't call them yellow as such. Sort of definitely a slightly more gold than yellow. We're going to sit here with young Hosana for a little bit longer, see what happens next. While we do that, Taylor's got something he's been probably eating quite a few of while his mom's been away.
I hope Hosana has caught a couple of these, because I think that they would be a very good meal. But it looks as though there's a whole family of mongoose, dwarf mongoose, that we were looking for earlier, that are running around here looking for, I think, one last bit to eat before they head on home, because sadly the sun disappeared behind the horizon before we could see it. It's very sad. Let's see if we can call them. I'm obviously not the mongoose whisperer. I think Jamie's the mongoose whisperer. Oh, it's a little baby. Here's a little one. Hello. They are so precious. It is so amazing just to see so much new life around at the moment. If it's not the new vegetation that we've got, it's all these little four-legged creatures and, well, some two-legged creatures running around, and they're so precious. Hello. And you can see, oh, off it goes. Oh my goodness, what has happened there? Let's have a look at that. Did you see that? I thought I was maybe making it up. When I initially saw it, it looks like that mongoose was missing its foot. Now, I wonder how it could have happened there. I don't think it could have got into a fight. Maybe it actually looks like it was a male for a moment. I think it could have been a male. So maybe it could have been a fight. It could have maybe been snatched up by a bird or something along those lines. Maybe it got bitten by a snake. I'm not sure. We can really only speculate as to what would have happened. But I don't think it would be too disadvantaged. These animals are very efficient and are able to sort of, well, make do if they're missing a horn or a foot or a claw or anything along those lines. Even an eye, they're able to carry on and live. But they're very curious with us. Perhaps it was my mongoose whispering that I made an attempt of earlier. But you can see that little nose wiggling around, sniffing, smelling, looking. I think if I were to be an animal, I'd probably be something like a meerkat or a mongoose, just because I don't think that they have a very long attention span, and they sort of can't focus on doing one thing at a time. They're always racing around and moving, and I think that's a little bit like me. They keep popping their heads up every now and then. We can see you, little one. You're not very hidden. Now you've got your bum towards us. You can actually hear them chatting too. Can you hear those high-pitched noises? It's amazing. Hello. Oh, hang on. Oh, look at that tiny little one. Mom moving it, saying, run, run, run. Watch out for the eagles. There they all are. Now, Alana, you were actually wondering how large can a family of mongoose be? Now, I don't think there's any sort of specific number. We've seen some where there's only 2 or 3 running around, and well, this seems to be a massive group of them. There's probably about maybe between 10 and 15. Oh, there we go. There's a couple more. Maybe it's even larger than that. And I think that they are heading home now, and they've gone just like that. As quick as they were here, they've now disappeared into the distance. I actually thought that they were probably going to go and have a sleep on that fallen log that they were climbing all over. I thought that that would make a good home. Now, oh, we've got some more guinea fowl. Let's have a look at these funny-looking birds. We'll try and catch them as we go past this tree. Don't run away, guinea fowl. Where are you going? There they are. I love the way that these animals run. Stopping just to have a little look and make sure we aren't in hot pursuit again. And off the 2 of them go. It's the same thing that we saw earlier. We've only really been seeing pairs. So they've moved away now from the big groups that they're normally in. I almost said the big herds. Can you believe that? A herd of guinea fowl? That's ridiculous. Now, of course, they're not herds. They're more flocks. And they're obviously mating and laying eggs and separated slightly. There you go, a couple of impala. Oh, let's go have a look at the lambs. Maybe they're going to go down and have a drink. We're actually coming up to the Djuma Pan now. There's lots of little babies out in the open. Maybe we get to watch them frolicking around. I always find that the animals, especially the youngsters at this time of the evening, are full of energy and bounding around one last time before mom gets a bit strict and tells them to settle down. Here we go. Let's go up a little bit further ahead. Oh my goodness, there is an array of animals here. Let's see if we can sneak a little bit closer. Going to be able to... Hello, Impala. Inyala. Here we go. Look at so many of them. All the little babies are grouped in the middle. And this time they are even more relaxed than the ones that we saw earlier. Here's a little one testing its legs, bouncing around. Come on, all of you, give us a little hop and a skip. We want to see how high you can jump. And remember, if they do start bounding around, try and get a couple of screenshots as they leap about and try out their new legs. Remember, you can hashtag Safari Live if you do get any good screenshots. It doesn't have to just be jumping impala. And, well, if you don't have Twitter, you're even welcome to pop them through on an email. questions@wildearth.tv is the address you'll need to send them to. But isn't this just absolutely beautiful? All come out of the thicker vegetation, moving out into the open like they normally do at night time. And even the Inyala are joining all of the little impalas. Come on, off you go, run around. Hello, Gloria. Now, you were saying that you absolutely love Africa. And now, look, look, look. Go, go, go. Go, run, baby, run. Sorry, Gloria, I'll get back to your question now. The host little three are having a ball of a time. Now, you were saying that you love Africa, and you were wondering if I could help you tell the difference between a kudu and an Inyala. Well, luckily we've got an Inyala in sight, and you can see also there's an electric fence and one of the lodges, just a small fence to try and keep something like an elephant out from eating all the plants in the garden. So Inyala are smaller than kudu, and also their coloration is slightly different, but you can get confused because they've got the same white vertical stripes that go along their bodies. However, the kudu don't really have, you see the little spots on their back legs? The kudu don't have those. And also, you can see that the male Inyala are dark chocolate brown with almost a yellowish colored legs, where kudu tend to be a little bit more on the grey side, a greyish brown. There's a beautiful big Inyala bull. Those others were youngsters. And the kudu also has massive spiraled horns. This is, of course, the male. And the females are much lighter in colour. They're sort of not quite the colour of impala. I suppose if you took the colour of an impala and you mixed it with the colour of the chocolate brown and a bit of grey, you would get the colour of a kudu. Oh, a pair of Egyptian geese being herded by an impala saying, "Get back to your watering hole. This is our land. Stop eating our grass." I don't know if that's what the impala was saying, but I just thought it was fitting. And then, of course, like I said, the size. Kudu is almost double the size of an Inyala. But hopefully we'll be able to show you some. We did see some a little bit earlier in the show. But keep watching because it's a common antelope that we see on a regular basis. However, it's like I said, they look a little bit similar, and of course they're in the same family, the Tracholaphus family, the spiraled horned antelope family, along with the bushbuck. So those three, when you're starting out and learning the different animal species out here, it's of course very, very easy to get confused. So don't feel too bad. The more you watch, the better you'll get, and keep asking these questions if you need some help. Now, I hope you've enjoyed your afternoon. For me, it's been a very, very special drive tonight. It's gone so quickly and I've had so much fun, and I hope you all have too. But it's now time for myself and VM to say goodbye to you. But don't worry, we'll see you on the Sunrise Safari tomorrow morning. So have a good evening, but I'm sure Brent wants to try and get you probably one last look at a Hosana. So let's go back over to him.
And he's off on a mission, little Hosana. Oh, there he goes. Let's just move around. Where's he got to? Where's he got to? Where's he gone? Looks like he might head south across our boundary. He's suddenly up and at him. Hi everyone. Ayo makangan. Yeah, so he is heading towards the boundary. We're just going to shoot around. Now Shongile is pretty much over there somewhere, on just over that ridge. Hello, Cypria. Cypria is wondering what will happen when Hosana becomes big. Will he then become known as the Big Prince? No, I think he will stay as the Little Prince, Cypria. We're not going to change his name when he gets older. Oh. Oh dear. Oh dear. Naughty. Naughty Hosana. So unfortunately this is an access road and things do accidentally fall off vehicles from time to time. And he has got himself a little toy. Naughty kitty. Oh, at a young leopard this age, anything that moves in the wind is something to play with. Clown. Oh, and there he goes. And he's now crossed our boundary. Off he scampers to the south. We'll see if we can get one last view of him. But I think he's going to disappear. No, I think we're going to move on. Leave him be. Bye-bye, Mr. Hosana. He's disappeared into the thickets there. Oh no, he's popped back up. Unfortunately, he has left his toy behind. Now he is heading in the direction where Shongile is. Still no sign of Queen Karula. Bye-bye, mister. Okay, we're going to leave him be now and try move on. Well, great to know that both sets of the cubs are okay. Always good to hear. Oh, we got a bit of a traffic jam here. Let's just pull over. Oh, hey, Minjan. Ah, Vogel. Hi, everyone. Bye, everyone. Okay, there we go. Great to know that both Hosana and Shongile are doing well, even though Mom has been absentee for some time. It's going to be very interesting to see if she joins up with them. I'm quite certain she will, so I wouldn't worry too much. I think she will be providing for those little leopards for a while yet. Now we are coming towards the end of the sunset safari. And it's been a spectacular day. The Nkohumas have been back. We've seen Tingana, we've seen Hosana. And of course the most important thing is the killer bees broke their bird record this morning with 43 different species on a single game drive. The magic number 50 is coming soon, maybe even on tomorrow's sunrise safari. So join us and say goodbye.